Hi everyone, Mallory Cameron here. I wanted to give you a little insight about courses and things that are going to be happening with some of your classes as we receive new students to the school for the remainder of this school year. As you get new students, that they are not populating in your traditional Canvas course. Instead, you will see that you have a whole new Canvas course created for that same class period, but it's a different section of that class period. And Mr. Flanagan can explain the logistics behind why this has to happen, but essentially those new students cannot see any of the information in your traditional course. They can't even see a course exist on their end. So if you see an unpublished course pop up, that means you have a new student in that class period, and these are the steps that you're going to need to follow in order to merge it to your traditional class. If you have all of your classes cross-listed into one, as I do, then you can go ahead and open up that one course. If you have multiple courses, for example, an advanced and then an on-level, and you separate them in that way, you're going to want to go to that unpublished course to see exactly what period it is. So if my second period were advanced, then I would open up my advanced course in another tab. Okay, so I have my unpublished course for my new student open, and I have my main course that I upload all my content and have all year long. In my main course, I am going to keep that open on a tab, and then I'll come over here to my unpublished course. On the unpublished course, you're going to go down to Settings, and you are going to notice at the top where it says Sections, you're going to click on the hyperlink for that section. It's going to show yourself, any new student that is joining your class, and their observer. Okay, so this might not be a lengthy list. As you see for mine, I just have one new student in this class period. So they are the only ones that are in this unpublished course. But I want them to have access, so I'm going to come over here to the right and click on cross-list this section. Then I'm going to come back to my tab of my course that I've been putting stuff in all year long. I am going to go up to the URL bar and copy these numbers at the very end of that URL. I'm going to go back to my unpublished course where I began a cross list, and I am going to paste those numbers in this box and click Enter. It will search, and it should say your course. If you have renamed it like I have, it should say the same course name that you have here. And then you will click cross-list this section. So now on my student's end, they are going to see my traditional course. And on my end, on my dashboard, I am no longer going to have any unpublished course. It is all going to be housed or cross-list into my main hub. And you can double check that by going into your main course and going to Settings and then Sections. And now you will see my original second period and my new second period that has my new student and their observer, and then my sixth period class. Okay? The next thing that I want to bring to your attention is in terms of grades with these new students. So if I go to Grades in Canvas, you can toggle, if you haven't already, to see Q3 grades or all grading periods, things like that. I click on Q3, and then over here where it says all sections, if you do not have that illuminated, then you will only see one specific class period. I have all sections illuminated, and this student right here is my new student that is in my second period class but was in that separate section. So when you come up here by sections, if you typically grade in that way instead, here is my normal second period where I have these students, and here is that second section of second period. So if you are one who grades them by sections, make sure that you are going and double checking that there are scores or you're inputting scores, however you're doing it, for that second section. So all sections will show you the view and include that student, but the individual sections, you will have to click on each individual section in order to see those new students. Because it's cross-listed, however, you did not merge those two actual courses together, if that makes sense. When you are posting grades, you will sync to Skyward in the same way that you would previously. And once you go to Skyward, there will also be differences there. The two differences there are going to be in your attendance and in your gradebook. Go ahead and go to the attendance. You will now notice for attendance that I have 2 class periods of second period. All that you are going to have to do is go into each second period class, take attendance as you typically would, and then you will go to the other one to take attendance for those new students that were added to that block. Okay, so you take attendance the same way, you just have to be aware of the class period. There will be multiple sections and you will have to post attendance in those multiple sections. Now let's look at our gradebook. So the same thing is going to be applicable for the gradebook. You will notice I now have 2 second period gradebooks. The one for all of my students that were here prior to winter break, and my second one for any students that joined me after winter break. When I go to the gradebook for my new students, you will see nothing transferred for my grade sync. I don't see any assignments. The reason for that is the sync failed, which you may not typically look at the status of your sync, but if you come to your grade sync tab on Canvas, so it's over here in the navigation. If you don't have it on the navigation bar already for yourself, then when you go to grades and you go to sync to SIS, and you post it, it has this scheduled. If you click on that, that actually takes you to your sync grades tab if you don't have it easily accessible over here. And you will see that that passback that I did moments ago failed. You're able to see why it failed, and it says that this section, which is my new second period student section, does not have a grade book. The grade book for each section is created when the teacher first visits or when it is created. So I had never accessed this grade book for my new students. So that is something that I want you to be aware of. If you have not gone in and at least clicked into this grade book and you try to sync grades, it's not going to sync successfully for you. You have to access it and then go through and complete another sync. Now I can see that my gradebook has now completed successfully since I had accessed this gradebook. So when I go into the gradebook now, I see that assignment. It hasn't been graded yet. However, the assignment exists so that I will be able to post grades in the same way that I do in my traditional classes. Okay, so main changes or main things that you will need to do when you get new students from here moving forward, you will need to cross-list any unpublished courses to your main course, and then you will daily need to take attendance in both sections for each period, and make sure for your gradebook that you are utilizing both of those as well when posting for progress reports and things like that. Feel free to reach out to me if you have absolutely any questions, and I would be happy to help.